lobby.
Thank you so much, Dragos, and welcome indeed to the glorious first edition of the post-game lobby of summer, where we, where we'll be looking back on the series at hand or the series that played out today. What's the TLDR of the post-game lobby for new viewers?
We talk about a lot of things. There's a lot of talking. Today, it's going to be talking about how Game 1 was close and then Game 2 in both series.
Yeah, for sure.
Oh, yeah. Fastest game.
Yeah, we are going to start with Fnatic versus Misfits, and yeah, most notably that second game, as it was the fastest game of 2017 and of the summer split then, of course, so far. And wow, I mean, it was an absolute slaughter, starting off with a triple kill for Reckless. So let's start by taking a look at that. Who was wrong here? Obviously Misfits, but why did it go so horribly wrong?
I think at this point, when you look at it, Hansama gets soloed down quite quick. Alfari is not necessarily late on the TP, but because of it's so far back and the fight drifting upwards, he can't get there in time. So it ends up being a 2 versus 4 and then another 2 versus 4 that comes out from Misfits.
Yeah, and in every single little fight, we actually saw some super cool mechanical outplays from Fnatic, like Source's taunt right there on the dashing Ahri. Fantastic. Flash Flay engage from GS's as well was on point. But to go back to the start of the play, it was 2 guys from Misfits walking into place a ward when they had no vision without a jungler nearby. So you walk blindly into the enemy jungle and, well, funny enough, the enemy jungler was there, and that's why Fnatic can engage. And this happened for Misfits in both games. So often they would just take super risky plays that would give a really tiny reward. So it's not even like a great reward if it actually succeeded. It's placing a ward. That's all you would get for it. And then end up dying like and lose 3 guys.
Yeah, when those same things happen then, when they go for a trade that's already a bit disadvantageous for them, but Fnatic has a huge lead, then it just always snowballs further, as we see in the next example as well when it goes about turret trading. But Fnatic, they have Rift Herald, so they have an advantage.
Yeah, this is where you could be excused to think that, well, Misfits from behind, they're getting towers here, but then you realize exactly how much Fnatic get from this. They've already are in process of picking up the Rift Herald, 2 towers from the top side, Misfits get a kill, and bot lane, and then it's everything about mid lane, from outer through to inner tower, like 13 minutes.
Such a bad call. Like, not only are you giving up topside with the Rift Herald, as you highlight, you're also against Tristana, who wants to just siege up turrets. Like, you can never just trade purely bottom side for top side when enemy can get Rift Herald in the early game as well to then go mid. I love the play from Fnatic saying we don't want inhib turret on top side because we can get another one in the mid lane, because it's more important to get all the outer turrets out of the way instead of getting like an open inhib at, what, 14 minutes. It's not going to do anything for you.
Especially when you get that spine of the rift down so early. Suddenly, Misfits don't have anywhere they can go on the rift without, sacrificing something, face checking, somehow trying to get wards down, and then Misfits just run out of options because they have no vision control.
Yeah, I do believe we have one more replay, but it's actually more of the same, going for a trade that doesn't end up well for them, and Reckless just can solo push all the way through in the top lane.
This fight's funny because it ends up being a 3 versus 5. Soaz goes in to take up a lot of time, and he's tanky. Look at how much damage he's putting out alone as Shen onto Igna and Hansama. So Soaz dies, and you think, okay, Fnatic, they're going to back away, just take some time, but watch this. They go aggressive on Caps.
You have to hit this one.
You have to. And Caps, at this point, punishes them. Okay, the Dragon's gone off. Misfits still 3 versus 5 at this point, and Caps sidesteps a whole bunch of things this fight, now puts a massive amount.
Yeah, and then it just becomes like Fnatic literally outplaying Misfits once again. A lot of it coming down to like mechanical things. Great hook from Justice into a combo from Caps, and there's another kill. And that was kind of the concerning thing for me right here, is that we understood or we expected Misfits to struggle in terms of shot calling with the new guy. Jesse's play of the series, I think that is super fair. The amount of hooks that man landed.
And I think... So even though I didn't vote for Jez's, I want
you to go like, yeah, high five.
He did, yeah, high five, great. I was going to explain a little bit about why Jez's got player of the series and not Reckless, because people will look at Reckless 11-0-11 on the series. Surely this guy carries.
Results-based analysis.
When we're looking at the actual impact, a lot of the trades came because of plays from Jez's, and then with Tristana, you get those last hits on the fight. I thought Caps did a great job. Personally, he was my player of the series. I think there was such a step up on a performance from Fnatic that they are looking a step ahead of what we saw in spring.
I want to go back to the Misfits point before Jess's sidetracked.
There's an interview also waiting, so it better be really important. Yeah.
This point can wait. Let's
go
to the interview.
This is the first time ever.
It's a new split, boys. It's a new split.
It's a new split. It's a new vibe. And we're going to have a new interview. QuickShot standing by Fnatic's AD carry and top laner.
Thank you very much. Soaz and Reckless, it's pretty special. Martin, stop talking so we could talk to you guys. That doesn't happen very often. Congratulations on the win. Soaz, you were watching a bunch of the replays there. Why was it so one-sided and so heavy-handed in Fnatic's favor?
I think first game was a bit slow because it's obviously first game on stage since a while, and we have to get like used to it again, obviously. So first game was a bit slower, and we made a bit more mistakes. And third game they just made some decision mistakes, and after we got 5-3 and they got 2, the game was pretty much over. So we just had to wait because we don't want to take Baron. We don't want to take inhibs too early. So we had to wait for like Baron spawn and all this stuff. So we had to wait a while. But
Well, it felt a lot quicker to the viewers than maybe yourself. Reckless, Tristana, Thresh, fantastic lane, fantastic games. What was it like playing again, back on stage, with the lights, maybe some more expectation after a very strong finish to the Spring Split?
I think in general, probably everyone was pretty nervous in the first game. It's just, stage jitters and getting used to different gear and different screens and everything again. But I think in general, we played pretty similar to how we do in scrims, so I was really happy with today's result.
Yeah, definitely very exciting. A lot of fans in the crowd yelling and screaming for Fnatic the whole time. Let's talk a little bit about the meta. We've seen a couple of different games, LCK, LPL, Demacia Cup, things like that. So how are you finding the changes on 7.10 in comparison to previous split, Reckless?
I mean, for my own role, it's not much difference, but I think maybe in the next patch, like 7.11 with Blade Nerf, there will be some changes to the AD carry role. I'm not quite sure, I haven't really tried it out yet. But I think the game is actually quite similar to how it was before. Maybe the Herald has the biggest impact now. I think it's just more convenient to go topside in scenarios before where it wouldn't be a good thing. So I would say that's probably the biggest change, but all in all, it's not that different from the Spring Split.
Yeah, definitely for the AD carry role. Top lane, though, a little bit more exciting. We're seeing some more champions we haven't seen in a while. Are we going to see some fun picks for SOAS, or is it just going to be more of those tanky tops that we know you love to play?
Well, I think the champion pool for top laners right now is pretty good. There's a lot of different styles you can possibly play, and there's a lot of new matchups since there's more and more champions. So it takes quite a while to get used to all these different matchups, because in scrims you rarely play like the same matchup during the whole week. So yeah, it's just a learning process to
figure it out.
Yeah, exactly.
See what happens next. I want to stop and step away from the game a little bit. So as we know, you guys went on the bootcamp to Korea. What was that like? What was the experience with the teams, the player, and actually playing without Reckless as well, which was an interesting turn?
Well, we went to Korea because almost everyone wanted to. Reckless wanted to take some time off, obviously. Especially Caps, since he have never been to Korea, he really wanted to go there and get to play solo queue, get to play against Korean players. So it was a really nice experience for him. At first, we were not sure if we wanted to go as a team or not. Maybe Caps should have gone to play solo queue there or something. But we decided to go as 4 with Rales. And we got some scrims against Challenger team, against a few LCK teams, against Chinese teams. So it was pretty good overall experience, especially for the new players. And I think for Jessis and me, it was more of like just to get in we are playing Summer Split now, so we're like trying even harder. And for the new players, it was a nice experience, I guess.
Yeah, definitely seemed to be the case. Paid off today against Misfits. Interesting to see how one-sided it was. Reckless, phenomenal performance. I think I saw the stats 11-0-11 after the 2 games. The break, a little bit of a step away and coming back to the team on stage. How does it feel to be in your shoes after such a fantastic win?
I mean, it feels good to get a good start. Like, I think at this point I'm pretty tired of missing out on the finals. So this summer I really wanna make it. And yeah, it just feels good to be back, and I'm really looking forward to contesting for the top spots this split.
Very excited to hear you say that. I've only got a few more questions for you guys. Let's look a little bit forward. Reckless, Fnatic, very public, very outspoken about taking the trip to Korea, you taking a step back. Have you guys talked about the summer splits and your expectations for Worlds, for playoffs, for your region?
I mean, as I said, like getting finals is just for sure something we have to do. I think everything after that is not something we've really talked about. Like, even just winning the finals is not something we have talked about, because we know that we have enough points to make it to Worlds anyways, if it's G2 on the other side. So we're just taking like that goal as the one we're looking for. And then obviously like performing at Worlds is something everyone dreams of doing, but it's just something that's really far away, so it's hard to talk about right now.
Yeah, I can imagine. It feels very, very far away. It's still 10 weeks of games to go. So as last question to you, as probably the most experienced player on the stage here in EU LCS, multiple Worlds appearances, you talked about getting ready for Worlds and how that's what the career trip was for you. What is the summer split going to be for SOAS specifically?
I don't know. Hopefully better than all the other split. I don't know. I don't feel like I have a shift, like depending of split or depending of playoffs or normal split myself. I just, I don't know. For me, it's just really like normal, and it doesn't feel any really difference. But I guess it's just a lot more serious for the team as a whole. So everyone really wants to get to Worlds. So everyone put like extra effort, and it just makes the whole team gets better.
Well, it's definitely very exciting to watch. I want to congratulate guys on a fantastic 2-0. And the Fnatic faithful, they seem to be rewarded on day one. Congrats, guys.
Thank you.
All right, we're going to head back up to post-game lobby with Shox and the boys.
Dankeschön. Merci. Yeah, cool. Yeah, very cool to hear from those guys. And they are quite calm. As opposed to us, we're obviously going to be totally like, these are the conclusions after day one. They go for the entire split, but they're keeping calm. And it's good to see Reckless speaking again, and also speaking to us, because he did make that obvious shift in spring, saying, okay, I want to close myself off completely and just kind of focus in a different way. So it's cool to see that there's a shift, at least. But it both worked for them.
Especially when a lot of people saw that they were boot camping without Reckless. You were thinking, how efficient could it be that you're playing without a player that you're looking to put in your lineup? But it has certainly helped Fnatic as a team. One thing's nice, they're talking about Cabs going to play solo queue. I bet he was itching to play against Faker, baby Faker. Turns out Faker's over at MSI, winning another title.
It's baby Perks now, by the way.
Faker's baby Perks.
Yeah, oh, true.
But I guess Caps is still baby Faker.
I don't know how
I'm not sure.
Wait, what?
There's a lot of names right now. Lane Kingdom, Faker, that's all we got.
Teases the terminology. We can't keep up. We're too old.
Still, that Misfits point.
Yeah.
That,
right,
here we go.
Okay.
Yeah. I just want to take it back to that one. So we knew shot calling would be an issue with Maxlaw. It would take time. It will take time. I'm going to give him a few weeks before we can really judge the shot calling and then say, was it a success getting Maxlaw or not? Issue for me in this game was mechanically a lot of the players were just way worse than the Fnatic players. That should not have changed. Like Power of Evil's Ari in that last game, he didn't manage to hit almost anything. Hansama got outplayed in the bot lane by Reckless, and Jess is obviously... Alfari never really managed to enter the games, even on the Kennen where he got ganked early. Like, those are some of the things I want to track the next few weeks with Misfits, and then I'm going to wait with the shot calling and macro till like halfway through.
And that's the thing is, the shot calling alone won't save those mistakes if they're still happening, as you're trying to say. So depending on how long that takes to go, if both things are still an issue, Misfits might not quite look like the top contender they were looking at early on in the spring split.
Yeah, obviously, we do only have one series to judge, but it is summer split. No, but it is summer split, so it is much tighter. And if you also look at the group, Fnatic now gets a very convincing win over Misfits. When they look at the other teams in the group, no Flame there, but G2 is the only real contender that you have extremely a lot of trouble with.
Agreed.
You can assume that Rocket or NIP should be an easier, no Flame, of course, but a more comfortable opponent.
Yeah. I mean, if you have...
I mean, careful.
Like, if you're Misfits and you're looking one way and you see G2 and Fnatic, and you look the other way and you see Rocket NIP, you're definitely going that way towards Rocket NIP, 100%. And it might be the Group B scenario of last split where it was like 3 teams in Splice, H2K, and Unicorns who very clearly just became the top 3 guys, and there was a big gap down to Vitality as number 4. I can see the same thing this split for Group A, where the gap is between Misfits and Rocket, where it's pretty big, and the top 3 could then clearly be G2, Fnatic, and Misfits. But that's obviously very early. We haven't even seen Rocket and they play yet.
Right. The ironic thing with Maxlaw previously being on Rocket, a lot of people say, what is that streak continuing? There's so many questions about their new jungler Pride Stalker that tomorrow we will see answered. Rocket were on that streak. Maybe they can have that fortune, but as you said, day one's the only day in the book so far. So many questions still up in the air. Yeah, for sure. Day one, so let's look ahead or look towards Group B, because today we saw H2K and Splice, they took to the Rift. And if you talk about convincing wins, well, H2K had a very convincing 2-0 over Splice, and what we thought would be a closer matchup, the first performance there as well. And
I mean, obviously you're like, yeah, the Unicorns of Love are still there, but H2K looked absolutely crushing today.
They looked fantastic, and Splice looked awful.
Yeah.
Like, it was a combination of both things. I think H2K's early game in the first game, we saw the stage nerf a little bit, where, you know, there were some mistakes, but the macro was fantastic. And then, what?
Hey, what?
Oh, I'm talking over Trevor right now.
Like
There we
usual.
go.
Oh, okay.
I'm so used to just zoning Trevor out. I don't actually even hear him anymore when he says anything. I just kind of nod at him and say, yes, Trevor. Yes, great point.
I think we saw about half a game out of Splice.
Yeah.
The first half of game
Early,
one
yeah.
looked decent.
Yeah,
I wouldn't
yeah.
say good.
I'm trying to say when Trevor was yelling.
Exactly. That was what Deficio was trying to say. That Splice mechanical early looked fine, but then game 2 was what happens when a Fiora's 4-0. Well, Splice throw everything at the wall and nothing sticks. And a very, very quick, dominant game from Odoamne.
Yankas got that first blood. He then killed Senkooks in the mid lane, and then he went bot lane and killed the bot lane, and like all over the place we just had H2K like stomping them.
funny.
Did he kiss him? Or?
No, I thought the same thing.
Oh, okay.
Today. It was just, it like grabbed his head. And I was like,
okay.
I mean, I don't know, you know.
Sure, whatever he wants to do.
What I was going to say is, or what I asked the analyst earlier is when Splice comes in with a new coach, and then in the second draft, after losing the first game of the split, they do some different things. They have the Twitch in there. They put the Kali top lane, which is, you would expect them maybe to go like super tryhard or maybe a bit laid back, but maybe it's a good sign that they're like, you know what, we will just try something different because we know that we'll find our form.
Yeah, I think the only like non-meta pick was the Akali top lane. I think Lucian mid is
But
something
Twitch
we
is
have
harder
seen.
to execute, you know?
Twitch is harder to execute, and I think they did hurt themselves a little bit in the bot lane right there. Game 1 draft was good, so I definitely don't want to blame like on draft purely. I think actually just they got outplayed in the game, and H2K just came in much more prepared.
Especially on like when you're playing an Akali versus a Fiora where one of them gets ahead. You were saying 10-0-0-10 on either champion then. When you blind pick an Akali, it's not bad, but you are rolling the dice. There are blind pickable champions that you could say, okay, let's try and have a more neutral lane matchup. Whereas Odoamne said, okay, I'm comfortable with this. It's not a matchup I've practiced a whole lot, but as long as we have some attention on the top side, the Fiora should theoretically get to the late game anyway, as long as you're not getting crushed.
And it's actually really good to see H2K come in this strong. A lot of fans, after the 3-0 loss against Fnatic, had kind of looked at H2K and said, yeah, these guys are not that good. But 10 weeks of regular season in the spring split had actually H2K looking like a top 4 team in Europe. Then they dropped out of quarters, and people kind of forgot that. I think they will be the team fighting against Unicorns of Love for first, which is not a massive surprise in this group. And it's going to be so fun to see who actually takes it. And also then between like the rest of the teams fighting for those like, for that last playoff spot. I was about to say those playoff spots, but there's only one left. And this point has been great. Let's go over to Stress right now. Stress, what do you want to say?
I want to talk about Che. He was the player of the series.
Yes.
If Che continues to play like that, this is the nuclear and Che we thought we were getting in Spring Split that just ended up playing on the back foot defensive. This was Che on Thresh, looking exciting, hitting all the hooks.
I
4
feel like,
Threshes today.
I feel like Thresh today
Little strong.
it's just been very, very good.
Yeah.
And the reason is, there's multiple reasons, but one of them is Doran Shield. So his own 80 carries safe, you know, has some sustain. He doesn't need to offer anything. And second of all, a lot of these mage supports, like some of them, like Lulu's lost like 50 base HP, so you can actually all in. Base.
Super bland champion.
Base HP, so you can all inner. Things like Karma, Zyric, kind of the same deal for Thresh. So there's a lot of playmaking potential right here, and a lot of our supports are the kind of like, I want to make the big play supports like Jess's, and now we even saw it from Che.
It's also a bit foolproof, you know. You don't have to go in and hook. You can just flash flay, and then you know you'll hit someone, and then someone
Hopefully.
else comes in. No, just kidding.
Pull a yellow
Obviously,
star.
Or pull a yellow star.
Someone needs to gift that, and every time someone misses on Thresh.
2 years ago, bottom. It was the I guess
It
everyone
was
wants to look
bot
it up.
lane 2 years ago.
Completely derailed here, but we did want to talk about the patch in just 7.10. We talked about Thresh and then the Doran Shield influence there and the influence in the game. What else did we see? We talked about top lane diversity. Oh, no, but this is Rift
Production
Herald.
are forcing us at this point to just go like, hey, we're going to talk about Rift Herald. It was in every single game and had that massive impact that we were expecting. When you put something
Losing
in the
team,
game, when you put something in the game that basically takes a tower down, almost 100% guaranteed, it's difficult for that not to be a significant
Did
threat.
it tilt games in someone's favor, or was it only helping people that were already ahead? In this series, obviously, Fnatic was already pretty far ahead. H2K used it, but then they would have taken the mid tower anyway.
It did help H2K, because
definitely
I don't know whether they would have broken that mid lane tower quite so quickly, because they were right on that expiring. As you said, they got it low already, but making that push is so much easier when Rift Herald just smashes through that first tower.
And that's the key thing about Rift Herald, is it should almost always guarantee your mid tower, which is often a tower you take last of the auto turrets, and the hardest one, because like wave clear mid laners are sitting there just keeping the wave away all the time. So having that to just say, oh, this is a bit of a slow game, maybe we trade, so you get an Infernal Drake, but we get Rift Herald to then take your mid tower. That trade we will see a lot from the different teams, and it just depends on who's actually playing on the top side better. And it's basically like in Europe, it's a game about just getting turrets down. We don't take that many Drakes. Very often you have like 1 or 2 Drakes per game going over, maybe 3. And then it's all about just getting early towers and trying to get early kills.
And that's why I like the priority actually on the Tristana, especially Reckless with the unconventional boots play where you can get back to lane very quickly, push, try and get some damage down. Fnatic had set themselves up multiple towers early on, and if that's a playstyle that they can continue against opponents that are going to try and learn against this, maybe that's something that might be more apparent here in Europe. It's too early to say what the exact meta is, but Fnatic, they have their style once again.
Yeah, and you speak about, of course, playing towards the top side of the map and pushing those towers down. And in terms of meta, it's been interesting. It's been fun. You got a Kennen, you got a Fiora, you got an Akali, you got a Galio. That's fun, you know?
Yes.
I mean, not that tanks aren't completely anti-fun, but they are less fun.
They are definitely less fun than watching a really strong player on like a Fiora just try and get early kills and snowball the game. And when we've seen LCK, like almost every game, it's been a tank on one side and then a new carry on the other side. And it's something that just made me super happy to see, because the diversity also makes it very hard for top laners to actually master every single matchup. So you can have these situations where someone is being picked into maybe a lane he didn't lane against so often, he gets outplayed on stage, and we have something again to talk about.
And that's the stuff we saw. We still haven't seen a few things. The Zac perma-ban, Xayah perma-banned, Sejuani not banned but didn't see any play. We're expecting it to come out here and there. There's a lot of exciting stuff still on 7.10. Yeah, a couple of bans.
I want to see it.
I want to see more Kled. It's a fun champion.
Yeah, but overall, a good feeling on the meta so far. Interesting playmaking champion, so to say.
I love this meta. I think the diversity in a lot of roles is super fun. I just want to see more junglers.
Yeah.
It's kind of the one where it's a little bit boring, and you want to see some of the weaker junglers getting buffed, so there's a little bit more you can use. But I think overall, it's a really fun pick and ban phase.
This ad was sponsored by Riot Games. The meta is in a great place. No, it is. It was interesting today. And we're back tomorrow, of course, from Berlin with a rematch of one of the biggest upsets from last split, Roccat versus G2 Light. Our broadcast of that series starts at 5 p.m. Central European Summertime, followed by the Unicorns of Love versus Vitality. Stress, you are so excited for the series.
I'm excited because this has the potential to turn the group here. If Roccat can deny a series win against the team everyone's expecting to top Group A, that's a massive threat to a team like Fnatic, who, if they end up being able to continue to get wins, continue to make their way to the top.
You're going to drop a reality bomb, aren't you?
Oh, the fact that G2 is playing, with subs? Or?
No, I thought you were just going to be like, it's never going to happen or something.
Oh, no, I mean, Roccat, I actually think Roccat are like favorites coming into the game based on G2 playing with subs. So I want to see Roccat do well, and I want to see what Stress is talking about, like early wins left and right. But also like Vitality, Unicorns of Love, it's kind of the same thing. I'm not expecting a lot from Vitality early on. I think it takes a lot of time to kind of integrate, both Vander and Yamato Cannon. And I think Unicorns will just come off like a great spring split, a boot camping career into this split, like looking like H2K and Fnatic look today. That's what I'm expecting at least. But I want to see like a well-playing Vitality, because it's been a year now of some pretty meh Vitality games.
Yeah, indeed. Well, that's it then. Any other final thoughts, Stress, on day one?
It was hype. Tomorrow's going to be hype. The new teams are going to be hype Saturday. It's going to be the word. That's what you want to use alongside #EULCS. Yeah.
All right, cool.
It's hype.
Well, that will do it then from us here on day one. It was hype already. Thank you so much. And we hope to see you again tomorrow as the summer split continues. Have a great night.
We had a rough year.